Alright, this is Ray. This is the interview. This is the interview part 9. Part 9. This is the interview that I've been, online. This is part 9 online with the interview of my documentation of all of the documentations and autobiography. I'm on the autobiographies of the times that I want to share with the world. I've always wanted to share with the world how my life went. And this little something about Ray, a lot of something about Ray. This is the freestyle of the day. This is Ray on part 9 with the peace sign. Yeah. So, yeah, yo. Alright, so here we go. Alright, here we go. Alright, here we go. I'll be dancing, y'all. I'll be rapping, singing, and all that. So this is pertaining to, my life and stuff. Alright, so hold on. So yeah, this is Ray, part 9 of the interview. So anyway, all that goofing around, I'm goofy and I'm silly. I got comedian stuff and all that too. Y'all can view along with my rapping, singing, dancing, and modeling, and beat making and instruments. So I'll be making beats. I'll be doing the instruments and stuff. This is Ray, and this is the interview of the day. All right, so we left off on how my grandparent was my manager at when I was just got to the earth, and all the way up to almost about to be 7, right? And so I was saying how I used to stay with my grandparents' child, which is my grandparent. So my great-great-grandparent was managing me, was managing Ray. I was getting managed by my grandparents. I was staying with my grandparents on both sides. Both my parents' side, I was staying with my grandparents. And so although my parents would come get me, and they would get spots and stuff when I got out of prison and all that, and get all their kids in separate houses. One household, they had kids with everybody else's parents, my siblings' parents, as far as, and then the other side, they was doing their thing too, and so they ended up getting married when I was 6 years old. And so that parent stopped going to prison. They've been had, that establishment marriage since all the way up and stuff. And then they was a pastor when I turned about 9. They were studying, doing their thing. They became a pastor. They got their own facility where they preach and all that. I really wasn't, I would see them and stuff and all that throughout life, not too much like the other parent, but I didn't even see them too much because I was with their siblings and their parents. So I was living with my grandparents and I was living with my cousin's parents, which is my parents' siblings, and my parents' parents, and my parents' parents' parents. I was living with everybody. This is Ray. And so 2 of my great parents passed away in front of my eyes at different times in the time spans of 2-3 years. When I was 3 years old, my grandparent passed away up there at the house where I was staying at with them. It was just me and them a lot of the times because their spouse was at work and all that, whatever. And we could get to the house and all that sometimes. All right, we still would have family get-togethers. Family would come over and take care of my sick grandparent, which they didn't really look sick. They didn't act sick for the most part until everybody left. I seen the part when they acted sick. It was sad. So one day, so days go and they start getting sicker and sicker. And so I'm still getting picked up, doing modeling, doing all this other stuff. And I was in an organization called Sunshine with the rest of my family. Immediate family, everybody's family. And so I've stated this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. This is 8. This is Ray with the interview of the day. I usually do freestyle of the day, storytelling of the day. My grandparent would pick me up and take me and my sibling. My sibling was already staying with that great-great-parent. I was staying with my great-parents. So when they came and got me, my sibling and my grandparent my sibling was 2, 3 years older than me, so they had to been only 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7. And so my other, sibling, my elder sibling lived with their other parent. They was for the most part stable within that household and their parent spouse. They had the same house all the way growing up, so we could go over there. We, for the most part, all my siblings' parents on their other side and my side was married. So we had family outside of each other and siblings and parents. And then we had that common parent that just kept going to prison and lit. But that's okay because we turned 18. I'm 29 now, so they must be, 2, 3 years older than me and 4 years older than me. Says I got 2 siblings on that side and 2 younger ones on that side. This side I got 6. I was the eldest over here and didn't really go over there to my parents' house. I was at their parents' house, which their parents took in everybody's kids. So I was over there too. At both households, I was getting taken care of by everybody because even though they was married and all that, I still would be over there and my parent would come visit me and everybody at their parents' house where all the other kids was. I wanted to be over there in the first place, and so because I just was used to lots of people in the household. My siblings on that side weren't really born yet, and so it was only my little brother. And so the little brother only like 2 years younger than me. They all back to back too on that side. So I got lots of siblings. All right, and so this is Ray. This is my story of my life. I always wanted to tell my story of my life. And so being that I was living with the grandparent over there, grandparents over here, so the great-great-grandparent was managing me, but I still was staying at my parents' parent house. And so my parents' parent would come get me and manage me and take me to modeling in the Sunshine Corps, which was that organization, that militant organization where we would learn little, I don't even know. So yeah, and so I remember that we was wearing white and stuff. And so being that they passed in front of me at 3 years old, about before my great-grandparent took me in, I was spoiled anywhere I went. Even before I was staying with the great-parent over there, grandparent at both spots. And my great-great-parent over that side would come and get me and take me to my great-great-great-parents' house, which they had lots of kids. So I knew all the generations on each side. And so I knew all the kids and all that because they was my siblings. And my siblings was my siblings. My parents would get spots, here and there when they got out of prison. So that one being stopped going to prison, they was studying all this to become that pastor they was in a couple of years after I was 6. So at 9, they was a pastor establishing that family, married and doing their thing. And I was at their parent house, but then I was at my parents' house at the other side of my parents' house. When my parent passed away in front of my eyes at that hospital bed at the house at 3 years old, my parents' parent came and got me. I was still getting managed, and I joined the dance team called African Dance. Now, 2 years later, after doing African dance and all that 3 years, whatever, how many years, 4 all the way up to 6, about to be 7, that dance instructor stopped, doing that class. And my siblings and them had joined the class, so they was in the class for like, a year. I was in the class for like 2 years. I still was modeling. We was all still going to Sunshine Corps. They would come to hang out with me when I was doing my modeling and going everywhere like Great America. We would go to the libraries, and just for fun too, outside of all of that, we'll still go to, Six Flags is in Vallejo, California. I'm from Vallejo, California. We would go to the library downtown in Vallejo, California. We would go to the story time. They would tell stories, and they'll have a story room lit up, and all the kids would be, in formation like, such, Indian style. And with our feet crisscrossed. And so after the story time was over, we were roaming around, look at the books, and they would tell the stories. Also, they'd do little plays and stuff too. And so they also had us on computers. They had a kid library downstairs. The grown-up library was upstairs. We'll do, we'll go both as far as the kids library, and we'll go up there, the elevator. It's a big old library to the adult library to get on the computers, do little kid games on computers and all that. And so, yeah. And so 2 years fast forward all that, I turned 5, about to be 6. And so after they died and sick and stuff, passed and stuff, when I was They passed when I was 3, about to be 4. The other parent that took me in, which my parent, after my parent passed in front of me in the hospital bed at the house. The ambulance came, was coming back and forth like every couple of weeks or month, and my family was coming back and helping them and all. So when they actually was gone, I was so sad, and so I was still spoiled even more, you know. So we started going to the libraries and more, and I was in dance class more, modeling in the Sunshine Court. Now my parent, my great parent, the one I was staying with, had my sibling already, like I said, and so I was with them also. My other sibling was come get me, or just come with us, you know, and chill with us, spend the night and stuff, and everybody else, my cousins and stuff too. My great parents and parents was loved by everybody. Everybody was chilling, and so my youngest sibling was got to the earth too, and so they were and my cousins they age, so everybody still was at the house. I was at their house, and so sadly, that great parent that took me in and managed me had passed in front of me too on the bus. They used to like to take the bus because they was friends with the bus drivers, and they was getting me out seen so everybody know to come to, you know, the dance class, and bring their kids up there too so they can join. Or, you know, they would already be on the bus and already up there in them classes and meet up there too. And so or just ride share or whatever. So they was networking and stuff and all that. And I was with them and stuff, so that, you know, anyways, Valel was just, you know, real active and stuff like that. And so they end up passing on that bus in front of me and stuff. So that was the second parent that passed away at a young age. So 3, and then at 6 and about to be 7, 6.5. The other parent, and I remember these times, you know, and so yeah, they used to sit at the front to talk to the bus driver and the people in the front. So the chairs was like this, and then you could see each other. So they just chilling and talking to each other. I used to look out the window, blacked out, spaced out, happy, and couldn't wait to get to dance class or modeling or thinking about how we went to Great America performed. We was performing everywhere in all of them, each organization that I was in. That Sunshine Court was like a military spot, and so then I had the modeling. I was doing the fashion and the runways and stuff for kids and all this and that, and just taking pictures and all that type of stuff. And I would do the African dance. And the African dance, we would play the instruments after the African dance. And so I was 4 and there all the way up to 6. And so at 6 years old, my great parent passed away. All of a sudden, you know, they sat in the back of the bus because they didn't know that bus driver. They usually know the bus drivers because they all went to school together and all that. And so they were just having a little time back there in the 90s. I'm 29 now. That happened when I was 6. I still remember the memories vividly, and remember the memories of the great times and them tragic times. And so they sat in the back for whatever reason, and this bus was always lit and always packed. This one day, it wasn't. And so we ended up sitting toward the back, and they sat at the window, and I'm like, wow, you're sitting by the window. You know, I always like to look out the window, and I never really sat on the type of, you know, toward the back in the first place because we was in cars when either every other times, you know, outside of us, you know, chilling on the bus in the front, talking to the bus, them talking to the bus driver and the people they knew, and having fun or whatever, and going to wherever we was going. And so I asked him, I said, you know, can I sit by the window? I was trying to get, you know, a little scenery, a little glimpse of what was going on. And I was excited because I've never sat in the back. You know, I'm like all the cool kids, you know, because they was, you know, that's my great parents. So everybody of all ages in the front, and it's okay. There was other kids and stuff. I still was just minding my business. And so, but all the, you know, school kids and teenagers and whoever was in the back, I'm like, wow, we finally in the back. But at, you know, at this time, wasn't nobody really on the bus. So I'm like, you know, I'm not the sightseeing and stuff like I always do, but I got a different view this time. And so, being that, you know, they probably already figured that, they was like, okay. So they got up and let my little self, I was 6 years old, let my little self get by the window. And so you know how they be waiting for a minute, the bus drivers. And so after everybody was loaded up and stuff, as soon as the bus started going, my great parents, fell over and hit their temple, hit their self, and fell down on the sitting down, and soon as they just passed out or something right beside me, but and so that was after I asked to switch the seats. They sat by the window, and they was kind of real quiet this day. Nobody knew that after I'd stopped going to dance class. Oh, I stopped going to dance class, and that great parent started getting sick. And so we was back and forth more so because that was every day. Sunshine Court and the modeling was every weekend. And so the dance wasn't. So we had a little bit more time. I don't know what was going on, but we was going to the hospital. We was going to the doctors, not even the hospital. Doctors more often for them to get whatever they was doing. And so they was sick. I'm not sure how many people know how sick they was, or it didn't seem like they was that sick to me. But I remember going in places. So I was there for both of my parents, keeping them company, keeping them going as far as my grandparents goes and my great grandparents goes. And so was everybody else, right? So I was the one living with them. So my sibling had already moved out by that time and went back to their other parents because we would like go back and forth to our other parents' houses and just they probably was with our mutual parent too. They'd come get us, some of us, all of us sometimes. I don't know where they was at the time. I know they moved out though at that time. And so it was just me and my parent. We got that real nice bond. We already had a real nice bond with being that they kid passed away in front of me. It was even, more sheltering that they made sure I was busy and all that. And so did the family, all the pictures and videos. Thank y'all for being there for me all this time, and being there for each other, all that stuff. And so they did, pass in front of me that way again. And so I went to go stay with my parent, had got a spot. Each of my parents had a spot at this time. And for the most part, I was living with my siblings and my step parents, my little siblings, other parents and all that, and they siblings. So we all got siblings and stuff. And so I've always still was doing, talents. Me and my siblings were still rapping, freestyling, and singing and dancing and all that. Outside of the dance class that the instructor quit going to, and my great parent had passed already, so they stopped taking us to all the places that we was going to. But people were still in basketball and all that. Me, I was a little bit more traumatized because again I was the one staying with them. I wasn't too traumatized because I was still a little busy roaming around Vallejo, chilling with the family. And so yeah, I still was had more time to do my music solely. And so I am a solo artist. I like being a solo artist. And even when I was, and I still do be collabing with folks and stuff too. And so with that being said, all the way up, I was still going to everybody else's houses and living with them.